We are 1 year in dealing with the aftermath of COVID-19 and its impact on all sectors of life. Most, if not all, business owners are taking it one day at a time, and some 1 month at a time, while we carefully lay out plans to not only keep our doors open, but build an environment for financial success. Financial institutions play a key role in this process, and tonight we have the opportunity to talk to two institutions and learn a little bit more about what they are doing to mitigate the effects of COVID-19. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and we are creatives transforming lives. Welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I'm your host, Mervin Budram, and I'll be with you for the next hour. Tonight, I have the amazing opportunity to talk to two financial institutions and learn a little bit more about what they're doing and what they have been discussing, even behind the scenes, as well as services and opportunities that are available for entrepreneurs and business owners. But before we jump into that, I want to welcome you to tonight's show. Thank you guys for making this show your show and for being with us every week right here on my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel. And if you're tuned in on TNC, thank you guys for watching. If you want to be a part of tonight's discussion, kindly use the comment section below so that we can hear questions, get feedbacks, and get your input on the discussion. As well, if you're watching on TNC, you can send a WhatsApp message to 623-7898, and we can get your conversation and your questions as well in the discussion. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Task Belize Limited, a strategic marketing and growing innovation firm here in Belize. And what they do is help tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make your connection to Task Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Task Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Task Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, Task will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make your connection to Task Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Task Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
And here we are. Welcome back again to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. It's a pleasure to have with us in the, I want to say in the house, but we're not really in the house. We're in a virtual space. It's in a virtual space. So it's a pleasure having DFC, the Development Financial Corporation, in the virtual room, the virtual house with us. I just want to welcome you guys. I want to welcome Mr. Hipolito Bautista and Miss Claudia. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for spending this hour with us.
Thank you for having us. Good evening.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Marvin.
Yeah, this will be interesting because we normally do one at a time, but we wanted to kind of get the full scope of what's happening with DFC behind the doors, and just also kind of get some insights as to what you guys have been working on in terms of helping to mitigate the impacts of COVID. As we all know, COVID has had a major blow to a lot of business, the financial economy at large. And I know everyone's scrambling, trying to figure, okay, how do we bounce back from this? So that's my opening question for you guys is what has DFC been doing, and how have you guys been looking at this current pandemic and its impact, and what steps are you guys taking to kind of be a solution in this time for small business and entrepreneurs?
Okay, Mervyn. Again, thanks for having us tonight. It's good to be here. DFC, as we've shared with you on previous shows and other shows, is a development finance institution, and actually, it's a kind of a role to play that when challenges arises in the economy, be it drought, be it floods, and most recent definitely COVID, for us to pretty much offer counter-cyclical financing to businesses, to our customers who range in a variety of sectors, no? And that is exactly what DFC has been doing. When COVID arose last year, DFC took several measures to mitigate that. We immediately got together, planned, and rolled out a COVID-19 tourism recovery working capital loans to supply financing to those businesses that needed it, especially to keep them functioning, going, to lessen the impact of unemployment or the businesses having to close for an unknown period of time at that time. No, equally with our customers, we work with them on a case-by-case basis. If they were impacted by COVID and they came to us, we assessed their situation, we worked along with them. And another measure that we took for the entirety of last year was that we had delayed, you could say, the fees, the late payment fees that normally businesses would have to pay if they were late on their payments, etc. No, so those were some of the immediate measures that we had taken, and more recent, going into 2021, we are innovating, we are going with the times, and we're pretty much going to be rolling out very soon three products that meets the needs of the time. No, one of our products is called Empowered Business Loans, which is a loans that would cater to women in business as well as young adults between the ages of 18 and 29. We also have another product. We're extending our COVID-19 tourism recovery financing. And again, the whole concept of this is to make it more accessible and more affordable. The interest rate on that, for example, is 6% versus our standard 9.75 to 13%. Right? Or empowered business financing is being offered at 7.5% to 9.5% versus our normal 10 to 12%. That's only one of the measures to make it more affordable. And lastly, we have a new product that we're rolling out for public officers and our uniformed personnel. It's called our We Serve home loans, because that's another need or another component of need in our Belizean society and economy. So these are some of the things that we can discuss those a bit more in detail.
Yeah, so that's really good. How, I know there's people out there wondering and kind of like, okay, how do we access and how do we qualify for these loans? So if you can give us a little bit of insight in how can someone take advantage of these opportunities, what do they need to do?
I could assist with that information in terms of the COVID relief. One of the emphasis that we did place on who could qualify is that they needed to have retained at least 30% of their workforce. We wanted to know that we know that a lot of people have to downsize their operations, but at the same time, we want to know that they're still creating that employment for other people that are also affected within the sector. In terms of the We Serve product, which is the one for the security for the forces, we're encouraging them. Once they're active in duty, they have potential for qualifying. We would then assess them based on their capacity. One of the important things with this is that for most of our programs, especially let's say the student loans or the housing loans, we try not to indebt persons more than 35% of their repayment capacity. Now, with this new product, with We Serve, we're offering we're allowing for a 45% indebtedness, so that increases their chances, and also refinancing from other banks. Because what we've gathered is that while a lot of people want to bank with the DFC, one of the restrictions is that they have other personal loans or with other institutions. We're opening the floor a little bit more so that we can assist in that area, so that these people can then have their homes, purchase their lands, build their homes, to be able to qualify.
I can add a bit more in terms of our empowered business loans. That is the one which is pretty much ideal for entrepreneurs and people who, for example, if they lost employment, they're branching out and doing something of their own. No. Again, like I shared, we are developing this product to meet our gender mainstreaming strategic objective. Because we've seen even pretty much in our portfolio, no, there's a disparity that exists in terms of in terms of both value and numbers of loans that women are accessing from, for example, the DFC. And part of our gender mainstreaming is to come up with innovative products, ideas, and even practices in-house, no, to make financing more accessible to women. And gender doesn't only encompass gender by sex, male, female. It's also age demographic. So the product is also developed, for example, for as I had shared, young adults between the ages of 18 and 29. And some of the key differences in this product versus our regular product, and why I say that DFC is innovating and addressing the needs of the day. With DFC, you can only start to access financing from 5,000, but we know that given COVID, persons might want to start to establish their own business, but they need a smaller amount, no? And so we're giving from 2,500. Equally, to access it, it's more affordable. It's more accessible because a person can access, let's say, up to 10,000 on a promissory note, what we refer to as a P note, versus having to have guarantors all the time, no? Because that's something that people may not want. Mind you, though, guarantors still makes it more accessible as well, because a person necessarily for a higher value may not have real estate as collateral, which under our normal program, anything above 20,000, required real estate. Under this empowered business loans, you can access a higher value with a mix of different types of securities. It could be a salary deduction order, real estate if they have real estate, or a mix with guarantors if they can secure guarantors. But versus where that was 20,000, this product is catered from 2,500 on the low end all the way up to 75,000 on the high end. So we're allowing the entrepreneurs to be able to access a higher amount, no? And so these are some of the things that we're doing that makes a difference.
Very good.
Addressing this time.
What measures? Because right now we're in a time where it's obvious it's risk on all part. I mean, we're talking about COVID. We're talking about not sure. There's a lot of ideas coming out. And what measures do you guys have in place to safeguard? Yes, the loan, but also the entrepreneur. Like, what kind of partnership are you looking for when coming into a contract in that sense of securing financing? Like, what are you guys looking for? What are you doing in terms of working with the entrepreneurs to make sure that in the long run that they're secure, the loan is secure, and all of that?
We do provide the clients guidance throughout, from the beginning to the end, from the beginning to when their loan is approved, and throughout their loan during the time that they're paying their loan. In terms of also external agencies that assist us in doing that, we have a partnership with Beltrade SPDC, who also provide guidance to the clients. They provide training. We refer a lot of our clients to those organizations so that they're able to strengthen them in areas that we've identified as weaknesses as well.
That's good. I was going to ask about that. You wanted to say something, Mr. Bautista?
Also, even part of the financing that they can access for their business equally, part of that can go to specialized training that is needed. it's for working capital, even if it's to cover their marketing and promotions. But I just wanted to mention that part of it is even for specialized training. If they're venturing into a industry or a business type, but they would want a more structured or deeper understanding of that industry they're getting, they can access financing from the loan to provide for that upskill training that they may need.
You know, we're because of COVID, a lot of the ways we look at doing business needs to shift, right? And so the categories of loans that you normally would give are the sectors. I know when people are there's normal stores and the different things like that, but a lot of things are now going digitally and online, and people are really kind of innovating in this time. Have you guys expanded are you having discussion in terms of expanding the categories of financing to the different sectors, or maybe new sectors? Or maybe I should ask, is there new sectors you're seeing that's popping up that's new because of COVID, and are you guys providing financing for that?
We actually don't have any restrictions in terms of industries or sectors that we finance. What we want to know is that whatever the client brings to us, whatever idea they have, that they come with a clear plan that would allow us to be able to assess that operation. So no, we don't have any restrictions. But we are one of the programs that we continue to promote is the Renewable Energy Efficiency Program, which the way that we structure it is that if the savings pay back for itself, it's at the reduced interest rate of 6% as well. So we've identified that a lot of organizations, manufacturing, tourism industries, their expenses are very high in terms of electricity. So that is one of the things that we want them to adopt, especially during these difficult times where any saving counts. So yes, that is one that we continue to push and that we encourage. We've also realized that government is pushing that idea as well. So we expect a lot of partnership with other organizations when it comes to the promotion and the knowledge for renewable energy or energy efficiency investment.
All right. Someone had sent this question in, so I want to ask, is there a list of requirements, like specific requirements when coming to DFC for financing? Like, what do they need to definitely have under their belt and have that clear before even coming to DFC?
One of the things sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the things that we encourage is the financials, especially if you're an existing operation. We would want to know that you have some form of financial management that would allow us to see, what your revenues are, what your expenses, because that's what would allow us to determine what best terms we can give you. Now, if you're in a new operation, we want to know that whatever business plan or even business idea that you bring to us clearly details that or gives us indication that the business that you're entering into and that you've seen any risks and how you're addressing those risks within, or how you plan on mitigating some of the risks, so that we can assist you in if you require any additional investment to be able to mitigate those risks as well. But definitely the financial aspect of it, the knowledge of the client, is something that we encourage them to, and not always, audited financial statements. It could be also, if they have a bank account, their transactions are done through banks that would allow us to see revenues coming in and revenues going out, for your expenses. So that is one of the things that we encourage the clients to bring along or prepare themselves with.
I would want to add that depending equally, we have different you may take into consideration different tiers of businesses. No, a smaller micro business, they want to access $2,500, $3,000. We would work along with that customer, that client, or that business interest a bit differently than we would, let's say, a larger scale business that may have, for example, bank accounts and financials or so. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has interest that they would want to, they maybe have an existing business that they're doing on their own, or they're thinking of venturing into a new business, we invite them to reach out to DFC to see how we'll be able to work along with them. Core though, as Ms. Claudia had stipulated, you naturally want financing for a business. You have to have, we would want you to put down in black and white what this business is that you want to do. As she had shared, your level of experience, etc. And you would come to us, and we would actually, you may not have all the questions answered that we may need, but we work along with that customer to find out or to get all the information that we need, equally to guide that person accordingly. As she had shared with Bell Trade, for example, for maybe a business that wants to become more formalized, or even if they're in operation but they want to access financing from us, but they need a more structured business plan, because as we know, a business plan is a central document that pretty much gives the financing institution like ourselves a deeper, greater insight into the various aspects that any business person has to take into consideration. You know, you have the financing component, you have your product supply, you have your marketing component. All of these different areas need to be taken into consideration. So business plan is a major thing, of which you can come with us with something basically will help you to formulate it even further. If it's a business which is small versus a larger scale business, we would address your need in a different type of way. But we would walk through the process with you to make it as easy as possible. So if you have an idea or so, approach us, let us know. We would work along with you.
Very good. Well, guys, we have a few more minutes talking with DFC. So if you have any questions, kindly use the comment section to submit those questions. I want to throw this question out there, and I think I know the answer, but I still want to throw it out there. Do you foresee the interest rate going lower than the 6%? I mean, the 6% is a huge drop from what it was before, and I applaud that. And do you see it go even lower? Because in this time, everyone's concern is how will I pay off these loans with past arrears and the effects of COVID? So do you foresee that as a reality happening anytime soon?
Claudia? I'll let you take the hard questions, Claudia.
We've done great. We recently had quite a bit of drop in our interest rates. One of the things that we have to bear in mind is that we get funding from external agencies. So that alone creates a little bit of obstacle for us, because we get it at a certain interest rate as well. But we're trying our best. So, but it's not all about the interest rate. We have to bear in mind also that the DFC provides, in terms of repayment, it's based on the cash flow of the operation. So our repayment term varies greatly. If it's the tourism, tourism operations have highs and lows. So the repayment term is according to that. And we also have other, the financial support that we provide, the technical assistance throughout. So it's not always about the interest rate, but we do provide other areas that where we can help the clients.
Well, I bring up the question on the interest rate because I am familiar with other countries that gives really small interest rate to help boost the economy so that entrepreneurs can kind of get in there and really create more jobs, create more business, right? And so there are business out there who's wanting to do more, but definitely the interest rate can be a burden at times, right? But I'm very glad to hear that it's being discussed. I'm glad to see that it's come down to the 6% because I think that's very good. So guys, as we're wrapping up, how can people get in touch with DFC, find out more information about what you're doing, and kind of stay current with the new products that you're rolling out?
Okay. Well, DFC, we have office locations pretty much countrywide everywhere except Dangriga. But in this day and age, you can simply shoot us an email to info at DFC Belize, Belize is spelled out, .org. You share with us your interest, and we would take it up from there. We would direct it to the respective branch for them to reach out and to get in touch with you to explore the interest that you may have further. With our new products, which are going to be coming on stream in short order, we naturally will be promoting via social media, via the different media channels. Ideally, you can check with our website, naturally, our website, www.dfcbelize.org. We will pretty much post up our information there with the different changes. Again, our interest rate has come down. We're floating around the 6% for tourism recovery working capital loans. where for our business loans, empowered business loans, we're at 7.5 to 9.5%. So the interest definitely is more affordable, as well as accessibility. We've made some changes in the product to make it more accessible to a wider market of persons who are interested, entrepreneurs, business persons who are interested. So we encourage you all to look out, follow our channels. Our Facebook is dfcbelize.org. DFC Belize, facebook.com/DFC Belize. And the simplest and fastest way, shoot us an email and we'll take it from there.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us this evening and just giving us some more insight into what's happening at DFC and how businesses can take advantage of those opportunities. And I know a lot of people are watching tonight and we're thinking financing, we're looking for grants, we're looking for those opportunities, but loan is a viable option as well. And that's why we have the financial institutions on for us to talk about that side of it, right? And we're hoping for to bring on some other establishments to talk about grants. And so if there's any out there who would like to be on the show, if you have grant opportunities, if you have those kind of financial options for entrepreneurs, reach out to our team and we would love to get you to come and share that as well with the public. Thank you again, Mr. Bautista, Ms. Claudia, for being with us. Don't go anywhere yet. We're going to be back and have a Q&A's time at the end from the general public. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking to Mr. Castillo from the National Bank of Belize.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make your connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Task Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, Task will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make your connection to Task Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Task Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I'm your host, Mervin Budram, and we are talking to financial institutions here in Belize. And we just finished talking with DFC, and what we're going to do now, we're going to have Mr. Castillo join us. He's from the National Bank of Belize. Good evening, Mr. Castillo. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing fine. And yourself?
I am doing great. It's a pleasure having you with us this evening. Thank you for spending this next 20 minutes with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Definitely. So can you just give us a little bit of background on who you are and what you do, and then we can jump into a little bit more on the National Bank of Belize and the options and opportunities that's happening with them?
Sure. I'm Rudolph Castillo. I have about 20 years in banking. I started my career as an economist at the central bank. Then I moved over into some auditing with KPMG for about 10 years. Then I joined the Belize Bank for about another 10 years and took a slight break from banking, came back into the game about 5 years ago with the National Bank. I must say that the last 5 years have been probably the most meaningful in my career, even though it's a smaller bank, but I'm really enjoying my time there.
Very good. That's awesome. And, I recently met you and we've been having some good conversation off air, and I'm looking forward to having a little bit more of those conversations. But one of the things that I loved about the few conversations we've had is your ability to help really articulate and educate me as an entrepreneur in terms of what I need and how do I need to position myself to access the financing, right? And so I want to get a little bit into that tonight, but before we do that, I want to ask you, can you give us a little insight into what's been happening at the National Bank in terms of COVID and mitigating the effects, and what are some of the opportunities that people, entrepreneurs, business owners, and even the general public can look forward to?
Surely. The last 12 months have been very challenging, obviously. COVID has affected businesses globally. Belize is no exception. The last 12 months we've spent huddling with our clients that are affected, working through strategies with them. Basically, what happened in the past is no longer relevant, to be honest. As a bank, we have to look at what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
How are clients adapting to the new post-COVID environment that has affected pretty much across the board, not necessarily only tourism. Tourism was hit hard up front, but on the back layer of tourism, there are a lot of supporting actors that have been affected. So suppliers, transportation, a whole list of different businesses, and each one is different. Each one is affected differently. So our approach at the National Bank is to not a cookie cutter application, but a case by case, and really developing a specific strategy for each client to come out of this. So it's been challenging, but I must say that clients have been very creative in trying to work around COVID. And our job is to assist them every step of the way. Most importantly for us in dealing with clients is always understanding the client's cash flows. I think your previous guest mentioned that is super important. It's really what we focus on. In the past, if I make a slight deviation in the past, people used to walk into the bank and say, well, yeah, I have a piece of land. It's valued 150,000. I need only 50,000. So, how fast can I get this? Those days are gone, I must say, in banking. You need to really convince the bank that you have blood passing through your veins, to make the analogy. And that's where we focus on. So apart from that, we focus on the things that keep you up at night. What are the 5 things basically that keeps up any business owner at night? I think if you look at any business, they must know their sales.
Yeah.
They must know who owes them money, their receivables. They must know who they owe, their payables. They must know what kind of inventory they have and what kind of margins that they're making on their goods. So if we understand those basic concepts that every business owner should know, our approach is to start building from that. And we can go all the way up to a skyscraper, meaning like audited financials. In today's world, I would say maybe less than 10% of clients do actually have audited financials, which is very serious for banking, because it was like, I think 20 odd years ago, when it changed over the tax regime, businesses are no longer required since then to submit audited financials to the tax authorities. The banks used to piggyback on that. So 20 years plus ago, that just started to diminish each year. So today, customers that are basically paying their debts on time, no instances of arrears, are saying, well, why do I have to give you a financials? I mean, it's expensive. I don't need it. So really, that's where I think a lot of trouble comes with banks in terms of businesses. And the reality is that a large proportion of businesses do fail within the first 24 months. So that's a stark reality that the banks are faced with. So our approach, especially now through COVID, understanding your strengths moving forward, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Those are the basics that you have to know as a business. We can get to the financials when you go big and prosperous and you could afford, a big company and so forth. But when looking at the basics, I think most businesses in Belize do not have audited financials. So we have to go under the hood to understand their business in a different way. And I think businesses are very receptive to that. They like to hear the common man language. It's not like, for them, in the past, we had people coming in and we used to talk about balance sheets and, what's that, so now we basically break it right down to grassroots level that everybody can understand exactly what we want. Yeah. And our approach is to challenge our clients, right? We're not going to stand here tonight and say, okay, you come in and we'll try and assist you. We have requirements, but most of all, the biggest requirement that we look for is the passion in an entrepreneur, in a business. And basically, you have to prove yourself to a certain point. We're going to give you a roadmap. Every specific business will be given a specific roadmap, and we are more than happy to meet you at a certain point. We've learned that using that approach, not many clients are very serious about their business, and that's what we learn. The ones that are serious, those are our partners. We embrace them, we cherish them, and we bend backwards to help those kind of clients. And those are the clients that deserve it. So earlier we spoke about 80% plus of businesses that fold up within 2 years. The other 8 that don't want to participate with us, maybe 1 or 2 might do. The other 8 are those that will not make it anyway. So it's a testing ground for us. It's very, very easy to access our program. We're very open. We want to help you all the way, but you have to do your part. And that's important.
It's good. I appreciate that. And you said earlier that you guys don't do a cookie cutter approach, and you work individually with each person as they come in. So what are some of the opportunities? Because I'm saying, before talking with you, my understanding was the National Bank was strictly for maybe government employees or teachers, but has that shifted? Has that changed? And how can people kind of understand a little bit more of the benefits of the National Bank, and why should people bank with you?
Sure. Back in 2013, the bank opened its doors, and we were primarily doing mortgages at that point. And a lot of civil servants benefited from that. As years passed, we realized that there was a great need in the business sector. As you can see today, there's $400+ million locked up in excess liquidity. That surely points to the fact that there's a lot of idle money that can be deployed into the business sector to develop the economy. Today is very exciting that we have a new administration. I think that we're waiting for a new economic plan to be laid out. And the bank looks forward, being the state-owned bank, the government-owned bank, to work closely with the government to roll out these plans. And it varies across all the sectors: agriculture, tourism, businesses, anything that's, MSMEs. Basically, we are very excited to try and utilize some of that liquidity that's built up in the system.
Very good. Is there any specific financial options right now being discussed even within the National Bank in terms of helping to alleviate COVID and the effects of it for clients in this time that you can share with us?
Actually, there are some projects in the making that I'm not at leisure to disclose at this point, but I can say surely that yes, the bank would be very active in working across the spectrum of business. So I wouldn't want to specify any specific area, but I would say that we are opening our doors to every sort of business. We look at it case by case. And to continue what I was saying earlier, that the bank grew from mortgages into business, we spent a lot of time developing a methodology. We realized that we couldn't just jump into business because it needs us. We needed to develop a game that would ensure that it's been done effectively. After all, we are on lending depositors money, so we have to make sure that we get it back. So our focus is very much on booking good loans through creation of partnerships with good clients, basically. We are always engaging our clients. It's a continuous process for us. That's very important because business evolves, and it's very important that we not only sit behind the bus, as you know, to use an analogy, which we try and come to the front of the bus with you, and we make sure that you are aware of what's happening inside your engine there. Your gas is going low, your engine is getting hot on you. So your dashboard is what we actually help you, if necessary, to develop a dashboard that you can know what's happening in front of you in terms of danger and risks. Risks assessments for us is key as well, from your strategy right down to your processes. Risks dwell in each part of that. So that's very important for us. So case by case, Mr. Budram, it's not a one solution for all.
Yeah.
It's basically, we take our time, you come in, we listen to you, and we move from there.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you a lot, Mr. Castillo. Really appreciate your insight. What we want to do, is there anything else you want to share with us before we bring back our other guests so that we can go into another Q&A time?
Well, I just wanted to make an appeal to Belizeans. The National Bank is our bank. It's owned by the people of Belize. And as I mentioned, we are looking forward to working closely with the government, our owners, and they are looking forward as well, I understand, to some exciting programs ahead. So the bank will be engaging in the middle of that, basically. We are going to be very central, I believe, to the rolling out, and we look forward to that.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And so what we want to do, we're going to take one more commercial break. And then when we get back, we're going to have DFC back on the stage, on the virtual stage with us. And we're just going to jump into our final Q&A segment. And again, if you're tuned in, we want to encourage you guys, feel free to submit questions. If you have any questions for any of the establishment, use the comment section to submit it. Again, if you're on television, you can WhatsApp us, stat 623-7898, and we will get your questions in. So let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, TAS will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
All right, welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show, and we are the Brady Bunch. No, we're not the Brady Bunch. It's a pleasure having all our guests with us. We have DFC in the house as well as the National Bank. And this segment, we normally leave our last segment for questions from the general public, who's the viewing audience, as well as questions that were submitted earlier to the show. And so I want to open up the time with this question that came in from one of our regular viewers. They wanted to know, do you have emergency facility to safeguard businesses when crises such as COVID hit? And anyone can take this. Just feel free, and we could piggyback off each other and go from there.
Not specifically in our case. Like I said, we welcome all businesses and all entrepreneurs, but there's no specific relief program at this point. I believe the government will be rolling out programs shortly, but I'm not at liberty to speak on that.
Sure.
On our end, DFC's end, we are big on a big word that we use is called what we call forbearance. As a development finance institution, DFI, as I had shared in the beginning, we offer, for example, counter-cyclical financing. So when you think that the situation is tanking, the economy is tanking, that is when an institution like DFC steps in. But on a regular basis with all of our customers, as long as we are always what we say, we are always willing to work along with our customers. So if a person is running a business and if they can see either something happened, out of the blue, they communicate with us, and that other customer will communicate with us and let us know, and we would see how we can work with them to maybe quite possibly maybe offer them a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Not a holiday. I'm sorry.
A relief, financial relief, or not so much financial relief, but also we look at the operations and see how best because lending is not always, giving the client more money is not always the best solution. Sometimes you want to see strictly what it is that is affecting them, and see maybe just interest payments during a certain couple of months, or extending the date of first principal payment. So those things is what we would do. We would assess it, but giving money is not always the best solution. You can break you. It can make you or break you. So we have to really look at each situation separately. But we have, in terms of relief, we do provide relief. For the flooding last year, we had special programs. As we took action, we had special programs to provide relief. So natural disasters, COVID hit, anything like that, while we don't have a special fund, we do have special procedures that we put in place when situations like that arise.
It's good. How about and this is another one that came in, another question. How will Belize have a local, or when will Belize have a local solution for payment transaction to avoid the 3% being charged when customers pay with credit or debit card? And I'm not sure if you guys can give insight into this, if this falls in your forte, but that was one of the questions that came in.
Yeah, well, actually, National Bank is on the verge of launching our e-wallet product. That's going to be huge in terms of cutting down the cost to the customers and bringing in a lot of people that are not necessarily participating in the banking system. So that's coming this year, and we're very excited about that. It's going to be a game changer.
I'm looking forward to that for sure, because that is a reality that will change things for sure in Belize.
DFC is looking at that option as well. So yes, it should facilitate a lot of the processes as well.
Awesome. So you're saying the National Bank one is rolling out this year? Is that what you said, Mr.
Yes,
Castillo?
we're on target to roll it out this year.
And DFC, when can we expect?
We don't have an exact date, but we are looking at the options to see how best we can integrate it into our system, into our procedures. But it's definitely something that's on the table right now.
Very good. That's cool. And then, so both DFC and the National Bank, like what would you say or why would you encourage people to access loans and finances through your establishment versus a private commercial bank?
I would say again, our nature as a DFI, as we just touched on, the forbearance that we offer customers is not only when you're accessing money at the beginning, but also the relationship that you will hold with your financial institution for the entire duration, be it if it's a business loan, home financing, which is normally, you have a long term with that 15 years, 20 years, etc. Those are some of the key, so I think the support mechanism that you can get from your financial institution is important. And at this point in time, again, like I'm saying, we are responding to the needs of the market, and we're offering more competitively priced in terms of interest rate, but not only interest rate, the service support to those persons who would want to venture into business or access to different types of financing that we have.
It's good. You all you guys are kind of in the seat where you get to see what's happening. You get to see the trends, the areas that are succeeding financially, the areas that are not succeeding financially. What would you advise viewers, entrepreneurs to start focus on in terms of sector and new business ventures? What would you advise them to start kind of focus on? Because tourism, I'm not sure, and I'm asking this question because I'm not. Belize had relied heavily on tourism, and tourism took a major blow. And so, in terms of moving forward, what are you guys projecting? What are you guys seeing in terms of the trends and the businesses to start considering, the sectors to start considering?
Yeah, well, I don't think that tourism is over. I think it just took a break. I think it's going to come back, possibly even better. Belize is very unique.
Yeah,
we have a lot to offer. I think that COVID hopefully will serve as a catalyst to Belize really springboarding into the next, next level of its economy. I see a lot of potential, obviously, in agro processing, especially. I think that's where we can really make a difference. We need to get more coordinated. I think the Ministry of Agriculture is in the process of really doing the groundwork to that. It takes data, it takes information to start making structural decisions and developing strategies how to get that done. In terms of bringing in the smaller farmers into the whole supply chain in a structured way through the banking system, obviously has to happen as well. So I think all of those things have to start happening. The old way of doing business pre-COVID hopefully will not return, and we just start playing again with the same rules, the same kind of methodologies, the same game. I think that COVID has taught us that we have to adjust and use our resources that we haven't been doing in the past.
Yeah.
You need to begin using your technology, whatever you have. I think all the industries in Belize have room for technology. One way or another, you should be able to integrate it to make your operations continue being successful. We spoke about earlier renewable energy efficiency. Those are things that worldwide are being sought as opportunities. So any ways that you can integrate those, I think it's something that everybody needs to start looking at.
With COVID, as Mr. Castillo had said, it to every great cloud a silver lining. And while it has been a challenge in COVID coming on, the pandemic globally, the impact that it has had, good things have also come of it. It has actually, I think, encouraged a lot of persons who may have wanted to start to do something on their own to finally maybe take that leap. Innovation, I mean, both in small ways, micro business, etc. They're innovative. Like, for example, we've seen because of COVID, a whole little industry has sprung up in terms of the deliveries that different individuals have been doing, and this has been replicated in different areas, etc. Food industry as well. So I think that is one of the things that And equally in terms of how organizations operate. Look at us right now. We would have never thought of always going virtual or taking on the use of that technology. It's efficient, it reduces the cost, etc. So I think, like Mr. Castillo had said, the world has changed because of COVID, I think, for the better. And even ourselves, I think, would be surprised of some of the innovative ideas that entrepreneurs would bring to our doors to request financing for. And I'm sure we would be able to, we're looking at it through a different lens. And so maybe before we would have maybe held off or held at a distance, we're now inviting those types of industries to come to us.
Here's a question that came for DFC through our WhatsApp channel medium. It says that will DFC be taking on or buying over loans from other banks for clients?
Yes, we do. We actually have done it in the past, mainly for the productive sectors. If you want to expand or grow your operations, we do refinance loans. We do it for the housing loans as well. Those are the main ones, the main sectors that we're doing it. As we shared initially for the We Serve product, we are also refinancing some of the consumer loans that they have, which is a new thing that we're doing. So it just depends on what the needs are and what exactly it is that we're refinancing. But we have done it in the past, and we're looking at extending the possibilities in terms of that.
Very good. Another WhatsApp message came in. He said they said a lot of people are afraid of loans because they don't understand how it works. So I guess it's a statement, and I guess what I want to ask for us, can you guys summarize how a loan works and kind of demystify some of the myths and the fears of stepping into a loan? Okay, we have 5 minutes more for the show, so let's say if we could spend a few minutes doing that.
Okay. Quickly, a loan is fuel in your tank for a business, right? Some businesses are fortunate enough to generate enough cash flows that they don't need to borrow. Unfortunately, most businesses are not in that shoe, and they actually need to engage in borrowing. But I mean, if you want to expand a business, if you need cash flows, if you need working capital, you want to put up a new building, whatever, it's very difficult to do that from cash flows. So the bank is there, and the bank will make sure that you do not take on a loan that you cannot handle. So that's why it's important, as I mentioned, we have to analyze your cash flows and know it as good as you do. And it is your obligation to prove it up to us, basically. Once you can prove the cash flows, we can see what kind of weight you can carry on your back in terms of a loan.
Very good. I love that because, I'm an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs tend to be very passionate, and they'll come in and like, we can do it, and they come with this passion. But what I love from the conversations I've been having as well with Mr. Castillo and even with DFC is the reality. You got to see it in black and white. Like, you're passionate, but it has to translate into the black and white. You have to have a record. I love the analogy of the blood, the lifeblood and the flow there. It has to translate, right? And so I think that's important for those who are watching. Opportunities and options are out there. We need to do our part as entrepreneurs and business owners, and the financial institutions will do their part. And I know everyone's currently in the negotiating stage to see how we can better serve each other as we move forward. I just want to thank you guys so much for being a part of tonight's show. As we're wrapping up, is there any final thoughts you want to leave with us?
I would just chime off of the last question that you had asked. I think persons might feel it's a complex process when really it really isn't. An organization like DFC, I would want to say you can come with us with pretty much your basic idea that you have. We will assist you in terms of building it, or for you yourself to see, or for that entrepreneur for themselves to see the different areas that they need to look at when it comes to putting that idea into black and white and seeing the practicality and the feasibility of it. A parting shot, because I got a message from my branch manager for our southern region. I mentioned earlier in the show or branches countrywide. And we have a branch in Dangriga, and then we have like office in Punta Gorda. I had said we didn't have any branch in Dangriga, and he shot me up on my WhatsApp. What are you saying?
Awesome.
But it was a pleasure, Mervin. Thank you so much for having us to share this information with the public. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Ms. Claudia, any final thoughts?
No, it's the same thing. Don't be afraid. If you have the passion, you want to grow, you want to start something, talk to us. We'll guide you throughout. Not because we ask for $1,000 or $100,000 means you'll get it. We analyze it. We assist you. We want you to start and grow. So don't be afraid. Bring us your idea, and let's see how we can work with you.
Awesome. Mr. Castillo, any final thoughts?
Yeah, banks are necessary evil sometime, and we're open here for you. We basically want to help you to build your businesses, and we want to help to build this economy. So it's time for business.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and for making the Creative Monday Discussion Show your show, your business show. And thanks for joining us every week right here, Monday night, 7 p.m. on the national channel, my YouTube, as well as Facebook channel. I want to say God bless you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you again next week.